Welcome to the 60 Plus Podcast.
I'm Janet.
I'm Joe. Hi, Janet.
Hi,
Hey,
Joe.
what's going on?
Oh, not much.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Oh, very good. That's good. That's good. What are we talking about today?
Oh, so, the holidays are upon us,
They are
right? This is timely then because we're going to talk about the art of gift giving.
very good.
Yeah,
Are you a good gift giver?
a good gift giver. I like to give gifts,
Okay.
and I don't know if I'm a good gift giver or not. I try to be. I know you are, right?
What makes you say that?
Well, because you put a lot of thought into your gifts and they're always very thoughtful.
Well, that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
I do like giving gifts.
Yeah.
And if I have to pat myself on the back, I think I am a good gift giver.
I think you are. And I think it's just so nice to give gifts. I don't know how good I am at receiving them. I mean, I like gifts. I'm not going to say I don't like gifts. It's not my love language.
No?
No. No.
I've said it many times. I'm fluent in all 5 love languages.
Okay, if you say so. But it's
I'm very
hard.
modest,
Like
too.
it's hard for somebody who likes to give gifts to give a gift to somebody who doesn't like receiving gifts or is uncomfortable receiving gifts. Have you ever had that experience?
I have. And it's always made me wonder, was it a bad gift? Or are they just not comfortable receiving the gift?
Yeah.
And there's a way to tell, I think, if they're uncomfortable before they open the gift, they don't know what the gift is. So it's got to be the second.
Yeah. And I think that's definitely a thing,
I
right?
think some people are uncomfortable receiving gifts, and it could be for any number of reasons.
Right.
But are we going to really talk about like the uncomfortableness of receiving gifts? Or are we talking about?
No. What we're going to talk about is the art of gift giving and how do you become a good gift giver? And sometimes I do find it hard to think about what to give someone, especially if you don't know them well.
That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
And I was going to talk about this later, but it makes me want to talk about it now. When I have people that I either can't come up with a good gift, but I have kind of an idea what they might like, I think gift cards are appropriate in that situation.
Yeah. And that's one of actually the tips that we have here on this. It's like flexibility for the recipient. If you're unsure about, what their preferences are, consider a gift card
So,
or an item that has a good return policy.
okay, always get the gift receipt.
Mm-hmm.
But I know people that will say a gift card is not a good gift because what you're doing is you're taking money and you're making it less valuable because they can't spend it somewhere else. I wouldn't give someone like a Visa gift card.
I gotta tell you though, Joe, I just went to a Yankee swap. You know what that is?
I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. So for our listeners, that's where you pick. Everybody brings a gift, and then you pick one, and then you can, as you open them, you can swap them.
There's some gamifying of gift giving involved.
And it's fun, but the one thing that kept on getting swapped was the TJ Maxx gift certificate. So I don't know. Maybe people like them more than you think.
Or the other gifts were really crappy.
No, it was that and the bourbon that kept on getting shifted around.
Okay. All right. All right. Where did you end up with?
$30 in cash.
So I'm a big Seinfeld fan, and there was an episode where Jerry was giving Elaine a gift.
Mm-hmm.
They had kind of gotten back together romantically,
Mm-hmm.
so he's trying to navigate these new waters of gift giving, and he ended up giving her $182 in cash, and she was really mad about it.
Yeah.
I thought that there were a couple of funny things about that. First, that he landed on $182.
Yeah. What was the significance of that?
George ended up giving her half of that, 91 bucks, because he wasn't romantically involved with her. So cash seems a little crude, where a gift card, I know someone that is very into crafts.
Yeah.
I will often get a gift card to a craft store.
Right. And it gives them sort of a reason to go to the store and be able to pick out anything that they want. And if you give cash, it's like, oh, they might pay their electric bill with it, And that's no fun. I mean, I want to go and buy a new cheese grater.
All right. You have to listen to the last episode to understand the cheese grater reference. You said something about thinking about what to get someone for a gift.
Yes.
I have a tip.
You do. Well, we've got lots of tips
Well,
here.
this is
You
my
did
this
some
is my
research.
this is
Okay,
my
what's your
tip.
tip? Being that you're the master gift giver.
When it comes time to give the gift, that's not the time to decide what the gift will be. Whether it's a
Don't
birthday
wait
or
until the
Christmas.
last minute.
No, listen throughout the year. Listen throughout.
Oh, yeah, but you know what? Then you got to remember. That's the tricky part. This happened to me the other day. I was like with somebody and they mentioned something like, "Oh, that would be a great gift for Christmas." And then I'm like, I forget. I can't remember what it was. You have to like write it down or put it in your telephone.
An old friend of mine gave my daughter a setup to make creme brulee. The little butane
Yummy.
torch
Ooh,
and
that's making me
the
hungry.
ramekins
I haven't had lunch.
and it was because months prior, my daughter had talked about going out to dinner and having creme brulee.
Oh, wow. So they were listening.
Just file that away. Make a
Yeah.
note. Make a note.
Yeah. Make a note.
Uh,
And actually that, that was some of the tips that we had. Like, so find the perfect gift every time in less than 30 minutes. There's 4 key questions you can ask.
okay.
So the first one is, what is something they are obsessed with? So whether that's a hobby or an interest that they have, and if you know about that, you can get something in reference to that.
Or maybe some medication if they're truly
Yeah,
obsessed.
depending on how big the obsession is and what they're obsessed with. Have they mentioned that they need this thing, to your point,
hmm
right? In passing, they were like, oh, wow, I could really use a new knife. I don't know why. Again, you'd have to listen to the last
My
episode.
whittling has really fallen off. I need a new knife.
Not that kind of knife, like to cook with. Never mind, Joe. And then 3
Well, what
is,
if they are a whittler? Then a knife would be a perfect gift.
yes, it would be, Joe. Yes. Okay.
Do you like to whittle?
No. Yeah, I do. Actually, you know what? If you go down in my living room, in the shelf on the shelf in the kitchen, there is something that I whittled.
Really?
Yes.
As we talk about this, I'm learning how funny a word whittle is.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Okay, number 3. All right, so we're being super silly. Okay. Are they having a big milestone or life change coming up?
Well, it depends on what that is. It could be a
Well, yeah, let's not go there.
okay.
Okay. This is like something you're whatever. Okay. Recognizing that milestone.
Okay.
And then lastly, do they have hobbies or endeavors they are putting off? So in other words, they've always wanted to learn how to fly, and maybe you can give them their first flying lesson or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was just an example.
Sure.
I don't want to learn how to fly.
You've mentioned this before, though. Oh no, somebody else mentioned.
Yeah, somebody did, but see,
Oh, it was a real talk. It was a real talk
you
episode.
know what? I'm going to add this tip onto the research that we did for our age group. Write it down.
Write it down.
Don't think like, how many times have you thought, oh, I'll remember that. No worries. And then you're like, huh? What?
I don't
I'm
ever
gonna-
remember doing that.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Okay. So, what do
Now,
you got?
uh, I'm also a big believer in the presentation of the gift.
Yeah, they say that that's a like part of it, right? That's part of that. It's like the thoughtfulness. If you like shove it in a paper bag or hand it to somebody unwrapped. And here you go.
No, it's kind of
Here's your gift.
it's kind of like good food, right? They say you eat with your eyes first.
Yeah,
The presentation of the
presentation
food,
matters.
it does matter,
It does.
and it can even elevate.
Or when you're going on that first date, you want to like,
Present well.
yeah.
Do you want to dress up like a candy cane?
Oh God. No, now that refers to an older episode.
A real talk episode.
With Deb.
No, so it can even elevate the kind of value or status of the gift. It could be something very simple, but if it's presented in a really nice way, wrapped nicely,
It could be an empty box.
it could be.
And you'd be like, oh, that was really nice.
It's
It could be an
there
empty
from the
Tiffany
beach.
box, and you'd be like,
Oh.
"Oh, wow, you got me something from Tiffany."
For someone who doesn't like receiving gifts, you're really shooting for the stars there, Janet.
I'm just using that as an example of how an empty box could actually be worthwhile.
There was a radio DJ in Boston. He every Valentine's Day he would talk about this. His wife really liked tea. He
Mhm.
decided he was going to go to Tiffany's and buy her a tea set.
Oh, how nice.
So he went and he saw a tea set and
Mhm.
he said how much, and they said 45. And
He's like, "Wow,
he
what a
said, wow,
deal."
that's a bargain. Sure, I'll take it. And they bring it over to the cash register and they're wrapping it up, and it was $4,500. But he was too embarrassed to say anything about it, so he got it.
Geez, you wouldn't wanna break a cup with that one.
$4,500 for a tea set. So, but I do believe that the presentation can really elevate the experience of receiving the gift.
Right, and that's not just the wrapping, it could be like a personalized note with
Oh,
it.
sure. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. What do you have?
So we're kind of hopping around a little bit, but
We are.
this whole idea, I think across the board with all the articles that we read, that some insightful things were, suggesting customization, like personalizing a gift, but also giving experiential gifts because that's got more meaning behind it than maybe material items. And you're going to create some kind of memories with that.
I think I said in the last episode, my daughter asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I said, I don't need anything. Experiences. I want
I've said the same
experiences.
thing to my daughter.
What are some good experience gifts in your opinion?
Again, you need to understand the person's preferences. I
Hmm.
mean, for me, it would be any musical,
I
type of
agree.
event. Not musical like la, 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 da, 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 but more like going to
Oklahoma with the world.
when
Yeah.
comes whistling down the plain.
Uh,
No, I mean more
although
like
that wouldn't be awful.
no, it wouldn't be awful, but I mean, I
No,
would love to see
I
a
like seeing
concerts.
live music,
Yep,
generally in smaller venues,
me too.
and people have given me gift cards to some of my favorite
Venues.
music venues,
Yeah,
and I love that.
yeah.
I
Even like tickets to movies or something like that. That's
Sure,
fun too. You do wanna consider your budget, right? So,
sure. I do
yeah.
like food. I like food a lot,
Mhm.
and restaurant gift certificates are wonderful gifts.
Yeah.
I've given those. Uh, my daughter has mentioned, "Oh, we went to this Italian restaurant. It was really good." I'll make a note of it,
Right.
what the name of the restaurant is, and have given gift cards for the restaurant.
Right.
And what's good about a gift card too is if you're not in the same locale as the
Mhm.
recipient,
Yeah.
it's easy to give a gift card. It's
Right.
my kids are coming home for Christmas,
Mhm.
and then they have to travel back.
Mhm.
Giving large, bulky
Yeah.
material
Yeah,
things
there's a
makes it challenging.
practicality about that.
Hmm.
But I think too that, if you're really doing something thoughtful and, there's some like things like you can reference a shared memory that you might have or like an inside joke,
Hmm. Hmm.
so that it's more a unique gift to that relationship. And I think that's kind of a cool idea.
I've given it's a company. I'm sure other companies do it too, but Shutterfly. You make a
Mhm.
book of photographs,
Mhm.
and that's been very, very well received. But it has to be something that you have a lot of photographs that can kind of fill up the book.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
it's not like giving a photograph. A framed photograph can be a wonderful gift if it's a special occasion
Mhm.
that you're commemorating.
You sound like a QVC. And a framed photograph could be a wonderful gift. Now over here, we have the Genshu knives. This can be a wonderful gift. I'm sorry, Joe. It just cracked me up.
I
You can
thought you
do
said
radio
I thought
advertisements.
you said I was a good gift giver.
You are a good gift
Yeah,
giver.
well, it doesn't sound like it.
Well, I think gifts that show that the person has put a lot of thought into it, that's really what's special about those kind of gifts.
Sure.
And that really has to do with that person, not you. Sometimes you might say, "Oh, I would really like that, so the other person should like that." But you really kind of have to put your feet in their shoes and say, "Okay, what is meaningful to them?
I think that is
And what's going to make them comfortable?"
I think doing the opposite of that, which I know people who do the opposite. They give something that that they would like.
Yeah,
I think that's the height of a bad gift giver.
I agree. I agree.
It's
That's what I just said.
Yeah,
We're
no, but
we're
I
in
think that
agreement.
is the number one thing that makes you a bad gift giver.
Yeah,
And
but if you're given experiences, you might want to give an experience that you want to experience too.
it depends on who the person is.
It's a shared experience. Yeah.
It could be
Mhm.
it could be if an anniversary gift card to a restaurant is not something that you want to. It's not a shared experience. It's a gift for the couple that's
Right.
celebrating an anniversary, for instance.
Right. Exactly.
But there needs to be a graciousness in the receiving of the gift as well.
That's a real challenge for people who aren't comfortable. It's like, how do you sort of overcome that discomfort? It's like you kind of have to think of, you have to almost think about the other person now. They're all excited about giving you this gift. You don't want to be like, oh, no, 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 I don't want this gift.
Or if you're receiving it and it really isn't a good gift. There was some thought about giving a gift, and
Hmm. But one could say that any gift is a good gift.
I agree. It's like
And
pizza.
that's, yeah, it's right. Exactly. Even if it's bad pizza,
Exactly.
it's still pizza.
When my kids were young,
Hmm.
it's kind of like about white lies.
Hmm.
Sometimes you need to say, "Oh, thank you so much. That's such a nice gift," when it's really not.
Or you can just say, thank you very much.
You can, but there's a difference between thanks and
Gee, thanks.
yeah. So developing and
I
that's
don't
just
know. The woman the other day who got a really bad Yankee swap gift, she was like, I wouldn't even re-gift this to anybody.
but that's different because it's a Yankee swap, right? So she must have been like one of the
The
last
last one,
people.
too.
Yeah,
Nobody wanted her gift.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes what I've seen in Yankee swaps, it's sometimes people just bring something that they had laying around the
Yeah,
house.
I know.
So
That's, I think, what this was actually.
developing that
It was a frame
graciousness.
that looked like it had been used already.
A framed picture can be a very nice gift sometimes,
That's what I understand.
as well as
That can be
Ginsu
a
knives.
that can be a lovely gift.
It's a lovely gift.
Yes. Also an empty Tiffany box. It's really special to somebody's heart.
So I think we both are in agreement that experiential gifts,
I
uh,
don't think you can go wrong with that. If you know what the
if
person
you know
likes,
the person well
right?
enough,
Right. Yeah.
and especially for
And
the
I
60
also like
plus
the
age group.
idea for especially the 60 plus age group that this is a person who's talked about, oh, I really should take up painting or something like that. And you can give them like a gift card to a paint store or like for classes or, watercolor classes or singing lessons or whatever it is that they said that they thought they would like to do before they,
As long as they really meant it. So I've seen situations where gifts end up being a chore. Here's this gift.
you're such a Debbie Downer about
No,
gifts. I'm like,
no, I put a lot of. You
yeah.
said it. I put a.
I know, but gosh, you're setting the bar kind of high. I'm never giving you a gift. Sheesh.
You want to make sure that the gift is actually a gift, not a chore, not homework to do.
Well,
So if they
no,
said, "Oh, I'd like to take up painting," and you give them, 6 painting classes, and then they're
what about a paint set? Would that be
like
okay?
watercolors and a coloring book,
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
fine. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But
All
as long
right.
as it's not
Thanks.
homework, like you have to submit your painting.
You're tough. I'm
I'm
going to give you a gift card.
$182.
I'm going to give you cash.
All right.
You're lucky if you get
Oh, wow.
30.
All right. Now I know. Have you done your Christmas shopping?
Oh, I did some.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not
What's
done. I'm
wh-
not nearly done.
what's holding you up?
Life.
Oh,
I've been
didn't
kind
realize
of
you were so
busy.
busy.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I still work for a living.
yeah. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, I mean, there's still time. We're recording this on December 12th. So you've got a little bit of time left.
I've got 13 days.
Yes.
Okay. If it's, I can do it. I'm up for the task.
Are you?
But you know what? I do want to say that with this whole gift giving thing, if you want to do something very thoughtful and special and you have to like order it, because this happened to me the other day, it didn't come in time.
Oh,
And it kind of, it was all part of the whole like package I was trying to put together.
mm-hmm.
And I was like bummed out. And it literally came like the next day. So give yourself a
This
little
wasn't a
extra.
Christmas gift.
No,
Ah,
give yourself extra time if you're trying to do something customized or, special that might take a while to get.
if you find that it's Christmas Eve and you're looking for a gift at CVS,
Have
you
you ever
probably should have
shopped?
started earlier.
Have you ever shopped on Christmas Eve?
I have.
One year I was determined to wait and do all of my shopping on Christmas Eve.
What was your goal in this
I
endeavor?
don't know. I thought it would be fun.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like a lot
You know what
of
it did?
fun.
You know what it did do though? It made me make quicker decisions. I didn't, lament or worry about what I was choosing. Now, that goes against the grain of thoughtfulness, but
You call me a Debbie Downer.
no, it was kind of fun. And it just was like, oh, yeah, that's perfect. Oh, that's good.
It
Oh,
was
I'll
it
get
was
that.
fun for you.
It was
What
fun
about
for
for
me.
what about the recipient? Did
I,
the recipient and recipients enjoy their gifts?
I'm not sure.
My
Do you
strong.
ever know that for sure, Joe?
Yes, I do. I think sometimes you do know for sure.
Do you?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you know?
All right. Well, how do you know?
Yeah.
Any number of ways.
Okay.
It depends on who the person is and how well you know them and what their reaction is.
Yeah.
If it's like,
You know
oh,
what
oh,
what's
thank
nice
you.
is when somebody mentions a gift that you gave them like years ago or whatever, and they're like, I'm looking at my blah, blah, blah that you gave me, yada, yada, yada.
I mentioned this in the last episode. My
Yeah.
kitchen knives
I know. Every
were given
time
to
you
me
use them.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
Every time I use them, I think of those friends.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I see.
and
It's nice.
and it's just in the last year or two that I told them that,
Right.
and they were blown away. They
Yeah.
were like, "Wow, we had no idea that it
Yeah.
made such an impact on
You
you."
probably got it on Christmas Eve.
It wasn't a Christmas gift.
Okay. So listen, do you have any other tips? I don't know if we've given a lot of information here.
No, but some
So,
thinking behind the gift giving.
and here's one, consider practicality and usefulness, that the gift should align with the person's lifestyle or fill a need that they've actually mentioned that will be particularly appreciated.
I do have a closing thought, and
Just one.
it's a cliche,
Oh gosh.
but I actually believe it.
Okay, what is it?
It is better to give than to receive.
I don't know if everybody feels that way, but I agree with that.
I do.
And it's funny, like whenever I'll go shopping, I don't have any problem spending money on, gifts for my kids or whatever. But when I go shopping and I try to buy something for myself, I'm like, do you really need that? I'm trying to get better at that actually. Giving to yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that situation, it's as good to give as it is to receive because
You're the same person. So do you give a Christmas gift to yourself?
No.
All I want for Christmas is my two front
Oh, geez.
teeth.
I do have some dental work coming up.
There you go. So that's your gift.
All right.
The gift of teeth.
Well, happy holidays to everyone that listens to the 60 Plus podcast.
Happy holidays.
All right. That's it for this week, and we'll talk to you next week.
I'm Janet.
I'm Joe.
Bye.